Hey guys, Eli here, and on today's video I want to talk about my life story. Now this may be a little bit of an embarrassment, but hey, I have a lot of new people to the channel and they don't know nothing about me, and I just want to give them a little bit of backstory about the Eli, or urban lifestyle. And let's start now. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, please consider hitting that thumbs up and also consider subscribing and hitting that notification icon so you guys can get future notifications of my future videos. And if you guys don't mind, please leave a comment down in the comments below. If you guys want to check out the Urban Wealth Creation Discord alongside getting some free stuff and checking out some of the equipment that I'm using, make sure you guys check down in the description below. So how do I start?
The year was 1989.
Alright, so the year was 1989. That was the year I was born. So growing up, I'll say from 1 to 5 years old, everything was like peachy. I thought we were rich. It was me and my mom and my dad, just us three. I thought we were rich. Anything I wanted to ask for, I got. Anything I wanted to ask for, I got. Alright, let's just put it that way. Whether it be a bicycle, the new Super Nintendo, oh man, whatever happened to my system? That's something I should keep like somewhere down in the attic. What happened to it? But anyways, so yeah, whatever I wanted, I was able to get my hands on. I remember this one time where we went to a pawn shop. It looked like a pawn shop from, this is like the earliest memories I can remember. I just remember seeing the gun and I was like banging on the window. I want it. I was like a spoiled little brat. I was like, I want it, daddy, mommy, I want it. Please, please, can I get it? They told me no. I don't know why. I just know, hey, anything I want, I get. But I can't get this gun, and I saw it on TV and I want it. I want it. But of course, they did not get it for me, and I started crying. I remember that. But now that I know, now that I know what I'm doing, like, now that I have more brain, I'm like, you know what, that was good. That was a good call on my dad's end, right? Even though he wouldn't be able to. All right, so like I said, everything was good until I turned 6, and this is, I'll say, maybe a little bit of trauma, because I remember this like it happened yesterday. Like, even for, I was like 4, 5, 6, I was like, yeah, I'll say 6 or 5, but I remember this like it happened yesterday. I was waking up out of my bed. Next thing you know, I just heard a loud noise, like just knocking on the door, and then boom, the door just opened up, and just guys in black suits came in and they start raiding the entire house. Now, if you guys haven't guessed by now, it was like a SWAT team or whatever. I didn't know what was going on. All I remember is, hey, they took my mom, they took my dad. I had to go to the neighbor's house, knock on the door so I can stay with them for a little bit until my grandpa was able to come and get me. Now, with that being said, later on down the line, I figured out that, my dad was doing some stuff he shouldn't been doing. Okay? He shouldn't have been doing it. And he got arrested. So he got out. 2 years later, he broke probation. He went to Haiti, and they decided to deport him. Yeah, of course, me being a kid, I loved my dad. I'm here crying. Hold on, my hair's in the way. Hold on, real quick. Okay, yeah, much better. So where was I? Dang, I forgot. So yeah, they decided to deport him. They took them away, and it's been, ever since, it's been me and my mom, and my dad never came back to the United States ever since. Now, actually, this year, I actually put 2 and 2 together, and I realized it was because of the '94 crime bill that was passed. And that's the main reason why my dad got deported. So I really had to adjust real quick. You're talking about a kid within the first 100% of his life at that time, used to getting everything he wants. Now he has to throttle it back because now it's just him and his mom has to do all the working. And I wasn't receiving everything I wanted no more. So I had to learn quick. It quickly turned from, yeah, spoiled, to, hey, listen, we're broke. So I remember before that time, I think my grades were like averaging between a D and a C. Sometimes I'll get a B. To after that point, my mom was real down. So I felt I had to do whatever I had to do to actually cheer her up. So, ever since my dad left, it was like straight A's, B's, and sometimes possibly C's. Of course, so I made sure there was never any problems at school. I didn't want to stress out my mom. I always wanted to make her, I understand money was tight, so I was the type of person that was always like, hey, listen, I want to put less stress on her. So I don't want to be expensive. I don't want to get all the clothes, the shoes, and all that. I used to get like maybe 1 pair of shoes, and I just made it last. I always come home and make sure I clean it. Always keeping them clean to make sure, hey, they can last the whole entire year, until I can get the next one, another pair, the year after. But to be honest with you, all that extra stuff, I was really picked on in high school. I mean, not even just high school, like middle school, high school. I had an accent, of course. Creole was my first language, and I always had an accent, so I always got picked on, backed by the fact of, since I had to learn English, I had to learn how to read English, and I never quite got it. All right, and to the point where I just gave up. So, of course, needless to say, a lot of people picked on me. All right, so I took all that, I'm used to all that. I just get used to it, I guess. Now, the thing is, around 18 to 17, I start selling drugs. I was just tired of not having money, So I just started selling drugs, and then boom, so much money was coming my way. Was doing stupid stuff with it, buying cars, buying just stupid stuff, spending all that money and just wasting it, and just being real extremely stupid with it. Now, one thing I do want to say is, thank God that I didn't get arrested or nothing else happened to me. But the reason I stopped doing that, as far as selling drugs, was the guy I was getting my supply from, he got shot in the head twice on the day I was supposed to get to him. I was like about 20 minutes late. By the time I got there, the cops were just swarmed in, so I would have been with him had I been early. Good thing they say black people are always late, right? So the fact is, after seeing that, I was like, you know what the heck am I doing? There's tons of people making money legit and legally. I need to figure out the same thing for myself. Then I got a call from my friend. He asked me if I wanted to make some extra money, and there was this side hustle that he was doing, and I got into that, and I met a couple of people into that, like some great entrepreneurs. And this is where everything in my life changed. I met some great entrepreneurs. They started getting me, and they start making me read. I start reading books, and when the first book he gave me was Magic of Thinking Big. I still have that first copy, like right here behind me in this bookshelf behind me here. The very first copy that I read, and I told him, hey, listen, I don't know how to read. Like, English is not my first language, so I don't know how to read. And I was born here in Miami, by the way. Family couldn't speak English. They were from Haiti, and I had to speak what they spoke, because that's the only thing I knew. That was the only thing they could teach me until I went to school. So, that being aside, I told the guy, hey, thank you for the book, but I honestly can't read. And he was like, yeah, but you can learn. And he gave me the book anyways. And the information that was in that book, it took me a long time to read that book. I mean, it's an easy read now, but learning how to read, really, it was a interesting thing. It took me like maybe a year to finish that book, but I always jot down notes, and I was just learning. I couldn't wait to go home. Like, normally when I go home, I'll just play the PlayStation. I think it was a 3 at that time, or maybe 2, one of those. That's all I used to do, just play. Never took anything serious, just go home, play the PlayStation. But once I got that book and I started learning, I was like, listen, this is the key. I really took it as, this is the key to everything. I need to start reading this. I need to unlock some stuff in my mind where I can be better for my life, do better with my life. And then I started reading the book, and I learned so much stuff. And then I was done with that book. I was like, hey, what else do you recommend me to read? Just keep giving me books, kept giving me books, and I kept reading them to the point where he just cut me off. He's like, hey, you know what? I'll give you names now, and then you're going to have to buy them. I was like, okay, cool. That's when I got into Amazon, and I was able to get books for like a penny. I was like, hey, listen, matter of fact, and I'm not joking, there were books on there for a penny on Amazon at the time. And yeah, of course, with the shipping, it was like $3, $4, $5, but still $4, $5 a piece, $6 a piece for a penny. I mean, on top of a penny for a book. I told him, hey, just give me all the list. I'm just gonna get all the books, and I just kept doing it. And I still have all those books behind me. Start going into audiobooks. Audiobooks was like amazing. But I still needed to make sure I liked reading better, because it was like a journey to me, just opening up the books and just reading. And I just consumed as much as I possibly can, learning, going to trips, learning from millionaires, doing all that extra stuff, learning so much. And I actually do have a list of all the books that I read within the first 3 years of this phase. It's down in the description below if anybody's interested. so much good information that was given, and it just stuck there. It just stuck with me, and I said, hey, you know what? This day, I'm changing my life for the better. So I just kept consuming, and what I realized was I was in a consuming phase, right? I was in a consumption phase. What happens with a sponge? What happens with a sponge? If you take a sponge, you dip it in water, it's going to soak up all the water it can. But if you have nowhere to apply it to, it's just a sponge. It can't soak in anymore. So I was consuming and just wasting the information that I had before. So I had to start putting things in action. This was something my mentor told me. I had to start putting things into action. And then I started putting things into action. All right, so I would just apply it in my life and, drain all the information I got, went back into the books, kept reading, soaked it all up, and I just went back and applied everything I've learned. And also at the same time, I tweaked up information. I tweaked it up. All right, this didn't work for me, I had to do this. All right, this didn't work for me, let's try it this way. And I got it to a point where I kind of understood it. Now, I was working on something, but I still had $0 in the bank account. I mean, come on, I was still check bills broke. I mean, I was still, at that time I was making like, what, $7.50 an hour, and I was only working like, what? I was lucky if I was working 20 hours a week, So doing all that, and then about like, I'll say 3 years ago, this has been a 10 years journey for me. A 10-year journey for me. 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done with being check bills broke. I need a budget. I need to find a better job. I need to find a way to create different sources of income. And that's when I went to this journey, and this is what you see out of it right now. All right, this whole channel, everything, my whole life is just a product of the past 10 years. Right? That's pretty much my story. Some people may relate, some people may not relate, but honestly, I didn't have like a rich family member. I mean, we was doing illegal stuff. I didn't know it at that time, but I wasn't rich. And as quick as we was making the money, well, as quick as my dad was making the money, as quick as it left. As quick as it left. And my whole thing is, I have a son, I have a daughter, and I want to be in their lives. I know the hurt it feels to see a father go to jail. I know the hurt it takes, like the pain from having a father no longer with you. I know that pain, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be there for my kids. And that's just my story. And it's still being written. My story's still being written. It's not done, and not even by a long shot. I'll say I'm still on chapter 2 of my story. But hopefully you guys got something from this. If you did, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. It's highly appreciated. Comment something down in the comments below, and make sure you're notified and hit that notification icon so you guys get future notifications of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.